guys! Welcome back to training. So glad that you're here. I hope that you are staying on track and taking in all of this great information that you're hearing from leaders on our team. I know that there's a lot of great content, a lot of great information. It can be overwhelming, but just try to stick with it and retain what you can and keep moving forward and doing the daily assignments. Today, I want to talk to you about handling objections. Earlier in the week, we discussed personal development, and everybody should be spending about 10 to 15 minutes per day in personal development. If you're not doing this, you guys, then what I'm going to cover today is going to be really hard. Handling objections. If you're not spending time developing yourself, building confidence, believing in the process, reading and trusting in the process of getting better each day, then you're gonna have a hard time hearing no. And I'm just gonna be upfront right away. You're gonna hear a lot of no's, okay? So that is normal. And usually when you first start out as a coach, that's usually what makes or breaks someone. They start out inviting, they hear maybe 1, 2, 3 no's, and then they just quit. Not gonna lie. Or maybe they have 2 really great months and they hear a lot of yeses because maybe they had an awesome transformation, or maybe they have a lot of people in their hot market that are ready to go and they just had a lot of people interested and they have an awesome first 2 or 3 months and they're helping a lot of people. But then you start hearing no's. And honestly, guys, that is where people fall off as a coach. And I'm not gonna lie, that's usually what happens, and it's hard to handle. And I know, because I've experienced that as well. But what differentiates the leaders on this team, the coaches who are successful, the top 10 coaches in this business, they didn't quit when they heard no. Okay, so they did not quit when they heard no, and they're not scared of no. And so that's what I really want to instill to you today, is that no is gonna happen. You've got to be reading your personal development, and you need to trust that eventually those no's are gonna turn into yeses, or that you're gonna just hear yes in the future. So from other people. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story about me. I signed up as a coach for the discount in the summer of 2013. And at that time, I had no interest in coaching. I quit law school. So this is a little bit of my story. I quit law school about a week in. I knew God did not want me there. I got a job in Chicago. My husband had gotten out of the military. He got a job too. I wasn't really fulfilled. And so in the fall of 2013, so fast forward just a few months, I was like, I'm gonna give this a shot. I didn't ask for any help. I literally just created a Facebook page. I was like, I'm gonna run a free group. So I started a free challenge group, or started advertising for a free challenge group, and nobody wanted to join me. Not one person. Nobody. And I crumbled. I threw in the towel at that moment. Threw it in. It's like, I'm done. This isn't for me. Nobody's gonna join me. People think I'm a joke. Why would anybody follow me? That's what went through my head. And I think back now and I wonder where I would be in my business, wonder where my family would be. I wonder what my life would be like if I would have not quit. And thankfully, God had worked in me and got this fire burning in me, and he's like, I don't know, but there's something about this coaching opportunity, and it brought me back. So fast forward about 9 months, and it was the summer of 2014 that I was like, okay, I'm all in, because I knew I needed this for my accountability, and I tried again. and people started saying yes. But I was already so hurt by those no's that I expected no's in the future. So, moral of the story, no matter who you are, no matter if you're the top coach, you're a new coach, you're a diamond coach, emerald coach, whatever, none of that matters. It does not matter what your rank is. It doesn't matter how well you're doing in this business. Every single one of us hears no. And the difference, as I mentioned before, is the people that are successful are the ones that don't quit when they hear no. So I want to just quick go over a few tips, and I'm going to share some scripts on how to handle objections in this post. So be sure to print those off and add them to your binder. But number one, I don't want you to stop when you hear no. And when I mean stop with that specific conversation. So a great piece of advice is to use the method feel, felt, found. So if someone is talking about time, they just don't have enough time this month, they're so busy. Usually people end the conversation. So instead of ending that conversation or saying, okay, I'll check in with you next month, you want to use the feel, felt, found method. And that means I can totally understand how you feel. When I was working full time, working long hours, life was so crazy, especially because it was during the holidays and I was just trying to stay on track. But what I found was when I took 30 minutes to take care of myself each day, I was way more present in everything else that I did. And it may have taken me to prioritize some of my schedule to make time to fit in for me. But what I found was that it changed my life. And I will never regret taking that time for me. And I sure hope that you really think about, do you have enough time this month? Is there a way that I can help you plan out your schedule so that you can make time for you and we can make this work so that you're getting set up for success when we start this new year. So feel, felt, found. So I understand how you feel. This is how I felt in my past situation, and this is what I found. So that's an awesome way to guide your conversation. The next tip is to remember that no doesn't mean never. So when someone is a clear no and they say no after you've done the feel, felt, found, remember that it doesn't mean never. A no usually means not right now. So you want to make note of that person, and depending on the conversation, I usually say, I completely understand and I'm here for you when you're ready. Do you mind if I put you on my list to check back in with you in 1 month, 2 months, whatever, based on your conversation, whenever it sounds like it's going to be a better time? So you want to make sure that you keep that door open. Never close the door. Keep loving on that person and make sure that you open the door to follow up. When you are experiencing more no's, eventually it loses its power over you. So don't fret if when you hear no, you lose a little bit of confidence. And I still get that each day too. But it definitely is way less hard on me than it was when I first started. So remember that the more no's you hear, the easier it gets. You're gonna hear a ton of no's. The top coaches do, the new coaches do, everyone in the middle does too. It doesn't matter what your rank is. And then the last piece of advice is to not stop when you hear yeses. So you've set goals for your month, which you should be doing, of how many people you want to help. When you've heard that amount and you've hit that goal, don't stop because you're on fire. Keep going. A lot of people just take the rest of the month off and they lose their groove. But when you're on fire, keep going. So don't think of it as how many yeses are you going to get this month. Think of it as how many no's you're going to get this month. And they say about 1 out of every 10 is a yes, 1 to 3, depending on who you talk to. So you need to calculate out how many no's you're going to get in order to get the amount of yeses. And then you keep going, right? You don't quit when you hear enough yeses. You quit when you've went through all your no's. So I hope that helps. I definitely recommend getting this book. I'll be sharing some awesome tools for handling objections, a few scripts, more about the feel, felt, found method in the post. So check those out, print them, and add them to your binder. And for today's assignment, I want you to share how many no's you got today. Okay, so with the hashtag, share how many no's you got today, and take a snapshot of it or write them down in your phone, and then what that objection was. If there's something specific that you need help covering, like how would you handle this objection, post that in the comment section too. That's why we're here to help. I hope you guys have a great day, and I can't wait to hear how many no's you get.